Hello, everyone. Hello. It's my pleasure to say hello to you in this conversation practice together with teacher Fred. Today, in this occasion, we are going to talk about moral values. Moral values. This is a topic that makes me worry due to the fact all things are happening now around the world that it's making me very very worried, teacher Alfredo. So I have like four examples, very international examples that I'm going to mention to talk about losing moral values. Teacher, what are moral values for you? Moral.
Well, first, a very, very good day to you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
And, moral values, teacher, is something that is very, very important to us. And we usually are defined by our moral values. So everything that we do is because of our beliefs and our moral values. So our values shape our decisions, and our decisions shape our life.
That's true,
So
teacher.
our values signal what is important to us, teacher.
Values
So
are values are behavior, your thinking, your faith, right?
that's correct.
It's that what you believe coming from
It-
home,
that
coming
is correct.
since you
It-
are a little child, right?
that's right. So usually we get our values from our parents, from our family, from our teachers in school. Usually those are the people who influence us very early in our lives.
Yeah. Teacher, do you think that are we losing values around the world? The people, the children?
I do, teacher.
Yes, of course. So you can imagine, and let me point the example number one. It's unbelievable. Yeah, totally unbelievable that the singer number one, the star, the person who is selling out concerts and all the stadiums, it's Bad Bunny. So imagine a guy that is very disrespectful in his lyrics with the rights of women. He's talking about violence, a very, very arrogant person, and a person who doesn't even sing. He's selling out concert. This is the artist, the singer number one around the world. So that
Mhm.
makes me worry. What do you think about it, teacher?
Sure, I would agree with you. And music is very, very influential. So if you go back to the 1950s, 1960s, um, even at the time, even Elvis Presley, um, during the 50s or 60s was considered to be controversial
Mhm.
uh, for that time.
From that time.
For that time period, he was also, people questioned, he was making some kind of sexual kind of movements on the stage, and people were shocked. Um, Even more recently, with famous rappers like Eminem, maybe in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, who he just did the Super Bowl show last year,
Yeah.
if
That's
you
true.
remember, from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So
Terrible.
a lot of these guys are very, very popular, but some of the things they do are very questionable, and
Yeah.
they might go against
Yeah.
our own set of moral values,
Yeah.
teacher. So the question could be, um, is it okay for parents to allow their children to watch these performers?
Yeah.
It could be for
We
young.
have to be aware of that
That's right.
as a
Would you let
parent.
your 12-year-old child go to a Bad Bunny concert, for
That's true.
example?
Yeah. And
So
everything.
what's the role of the parent?
Yeah, that's true. And another example that I have is it's about the new song of Shakira. Shakira is a very famous singer. Everybody loves
Yes.
her. Yeah, beautiful woman, excellent
Beautiful woman
dancer,
from
excellent
Colombia.
performer from Colombia, you know. Um, wow, everybody admires Shakira. But now there is a song which is, I mean, it's about revenge.
It is, teacher.
So very famous song. Everybody sings that song. And it's not because I am a man and I defend Piquet. That's not my position. All right. I will be very critical, even if this song is coming from a woman or a man. So what do you think about it, teacher?
Yes, I think, teacher, it was in very poor taste for Shakira to make this kind of song. Because as you mentioned, her main purpose to make this song is really out of revenge. So she was unhappy with her former partner who entered into a relationship with another woman,
Yeah,
and she wanted to get even with him.
yeah.
So that's why we use the word revenge.
That's her personal
But
life. I mean, this.
exactly. And I believe that especially for celebrities, there's an expression and they say if you're a famous person, a celebrity, an athlete, whatever the case may be, you shouldn't air your dirty laundry out in public.
Perfect. That's
So you
true.
should keep these kind of private matters private
Yeah.
and not for the world to know.
We admire artists and sport people because of their performance, not
That's
because
right.
of their personal life.
Personal life. That's
Yeah.
right.
Very good, teacher. Thank you so much. I have another example. It's about this famous chef. I don't remember his name, and I don't want to remember his name. It was a famous chef
He's a
who
big
had
blogger.
access to the World Cup and the celebration of the World Cup. You know, he
Right.
had a picture next to Messi holding the
Right.
cup.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy, a very, very arrogant chef, millionaire. Yeah, he attends dictators at his restaurant, a very expensive restaurant, and he attends killers, bad people. He doesn't care. And this guy, how much money did he pay on the field to get access to Messi and the World Cup? And
Right.
that's values, you know. How much money did he pay? How many people did he buy? What do you think, teacher?
You're right, teacher. So in the case of this man, he is also an influencer. He's very popular on social media. He has many, many followers on Instagram or TikTok, whatever it may be.
I can do this.
Yeah. But the question is, many people were asking is, how did he get access to the field? So I'm going to use the word sometimes for famous people, the normal set of rules do not apply. So for normal people, there are rules, and they say you
Yeah,
cannot go on the
yeah,
field.
yeah,
But if you're a VIP, if you're a special person, these rules do not apply to you.
yeah.
And we call this a double standard.
Double
This is
standard.
what we call a double standard, where the rules, they don't apply to wealthy, famous people. So I
Perfect.
believe this is what happened in the case of this man,
On this
that
man.
they didn't they didn't stop him from entering and getting on the field and being able to take pictures with Messi and holding the trophy. And so people got very upset
Yeah,
because they said there's this double standard.
he has
And if you're
some sanctions, I think, I believe.
right, right, I think there was some backlash later. So after all of this controversy, I think many people were a little bit upset with him.
Yeah, very good, teacher. the other example that I want to mention is something that, well, really makes me worry. I'm coming from a baseball country, from Venezuela, and we had a lot of players playing here in the Major League Baseball in the United States and also in Japan, Korea, everywhere. And I've been watching baseball for 50 years, and it makes me worry the way people, the hitters, the batters, they celebrate every time they score and they make a home run. It's very disrespectful, the gestures they are doing against the other team, against
Right.
the pitcher and against the dugout, or even the fans, even the fans. So they
Right.
score and they make a home run and they make a kind of sexual gestures and very, very disrespectful. I
Right.
remember at the time I was watching baseball, like these kind of players like Miguel Cabrera, Andres Galarraga, Barry Bonds, Matt
Maybe
McGuire, very,
Roberto Clemente,
yeah, Roberto Clemente, Jose
going way back,
Canseco, very res
very,
respectful players,
yeah,
score home run, running, you know,
yeah.
but
I remember,
but
going way back
now,
to,
now
yeah,
you can see there is a Venezuelan baseball player, you know, making some kind of gestures, and he retired. He said, "I'm not playing anymore." A lot of fights. I don't know if you saw it on the news.
I did,
We are in the
I did.
finals at this moment, and fights everywhere, every single game. So there's something going on with moral values there. What do you think, teacher?
I agree with you, teacher. So, many years ago, I'm also a big baseball fan, by the way, teacher, going way, way back. And I think many years ago in baseball, they have something which they call an unwritten rule. And an unwritten rule is basically the way that you're expected to behave while you're on the field. So in the old days, if you were a hitter, you would not dare have these types of celebrations when you hit a home run, because the next pitch, the pitcher is going to throw the ball right at your head.
Yeah,
But nowadays, the pitchers, they seem afraid to do this. So they're allowing the hitters to, in many ways, be more disrespectful to them
yeah,
and to the game.
and to the game.
So there was this unwritten rule before in baseball that you couldn't do certain things. And I think nowadays these rules, maybe they don't apply so much.
Yeah, that's true, teacher.
And
So
yes, teacher.
can you tell us what are the most important values that we are missing here with this kind of people, this kind of famous people, influencer, and even us, regular people? What's going on? Can you tell us? There are 10 values, yeah?
Sure, teacher. There are many, many different opinions. So maybe not everyone would uh, maybe agree, or maybe some people might have some different items on their list. But for me, teacher, I could give you my own list,
Okay,
and I would start with health and energy.
very good.
So we must be able to take care of ourselves. So our nutrition, our exercise. You cannot do anything in life if you're not healthy. So I would put this at the top, teacher.
This is
After this,
human
I'm
values.
sorry.
This is like human values. So they are very
Yes,
related. Human values and moral values.
right, right.
Okay.
They are related. So health and energy, I would put at the top. After this, I would have love.
Love.
So the world is a very hard place, and sometimes there's just not enough love in the world.
Yeah.
Not only when we think of romantic love, but just love of all things.
Some
So if
people
you
get confused. Some people
right,
think when we talk about love, It's about
We think of
romantic.
no,
No, it's
no.
love about what you do, love
Yes.
about what you are,
If if you
love
love to wake
about,
up,
yeah, you
if
can,
you love to wake up in the morning and go to your job, for example, because you love
yeah.
what you do.
If
Uh,
you love to study English, for example,
exactly. And I know you love to teach.
mm-hmm.
So love of things, of all things, is another kind of love. So I would
Perfect.
have that next, teacher. After that, I would all think of gratitude and appreciation.
Oh, yeah, gratitude.
So, they say that we should always be thankful for what we have. And we shouldn't be upset or angry about things that we do not have.
Excellent.
So we should be grateful. We should appreciate what we have. I think this is very, very important. If you can
Yeah,
do that, you probably will have a much happier life, teacher.
yeah. Gratitude about what you have and also about who you are.
That's right. And appreciating those people around us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
our closest family members who are a good influence on us, who take care of us, we also should appreciate them. So that would be next for me, teacher. After that, I would then think of kindness and compassion.
Compassion, kindness.
So compassion is a very good word, um, where we don't always just think of ourselves, but we also think of other people too.
Yeah,
And at times when people are not at their best, when people sometimes could use a little bit of help, or they could use a kind word.
yeah.
So this is also very important.
Are we,
After,
do you think, are we missing compassion around the world?
I do,
Yeah,
and kindness. If you kind of look when you're going outside and in the USA, I think there are a lot of angry people.
that's true.
When we look at social media, there are a lot of angry people, and I don't really see them being very quick to have a kind word. Uh, so I think it's sort of missing. So I think we could use more kindness and compassion.
Your teacher, excellent.
After this, I would also think of integrity,
Oh,
teacher.
yeah, integrity.
So
Perfect.
integrity is a good word. It's similar in many ways to honesty.
Honesty.
By integrity, a good way to define integrity is always doing the right thing, even when no one is watching.
Even when no one is watching
Even
you.
when no one is watching, even if it's a Saturday and your boss told you you have to work and no one is in the office. So maybe you're thinking that you can go home at 2 o'clock instead of having to stay in the office until closing time at 5.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But we know that that's not the proper thing to do.
Excellent,
So
teacher.
if we have
Excellent.
integrity, teacher, we're tempted maybe with, well, no one is around, the office is not busy, the phone is not ringing, why don't I just leave? Why don't I just close the door? And but in our mind, we know that that's not the right thing to do. As an example,
Excellent,
so
teacher.
integrity is always doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Teacher. After this, I would then think of giving.
Given.
Giving. So not only when we think about money or giving things, but also giving our time, giving ourselves
Very
to.
good. Without
So
without asking anything else back.
that's right. Very good point. Without having to ask anything in return. So out of the goodness of your heart, and it's a genuine gesture.
Wow.
When we well, they say to give from the heart is the best type of giving.
Yeah.
To give from the
Definitely.
heart.
Definitely.
So that would be next for me. After that, I also would think of growth. So
Growth.
in our life, we pass through many stages in our life, from a child to a teenager, a young adult, to middle age, and finally when we start to reach our 50s and 60s, teacher. And we learn many things along the way. So we can learn from our experience, our failures, our mistakes. All of those things serve a purpose. So they're
Perfect.
not always good, but we do learn from them.
Yeah.
So growth, I think, is something that is not talked about so much, but it is something that we all go through, especially as we continue to go through our life, teacher.
Yeah. Absolutely
Um,
right.
After this, we cannot forget about peace.
Peace.
So with everything that's happening in the world now, all of the different conflicts, the war in the Ukraine, there always seems to be some type of conflict in Africa um, that doesn't get a lot of attention. Um, I don't know if there's ever been a time where 100% our world was at total peace, teacher.
I don't
There was,
remember either.
I don't remember. Even there's always at least one or two conflicts that are always
Conflict.
happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it doesn't get a lot of attention in the US, but there might be a little war or a little conflict in Africa or some other part of the world that's so far away from us.
Yeah, that's true,
So
teacher.
we need peace in the world, teacher, and that's something I think everybody talks about, but I think it's very hard to achieve.
Yeah, very hard to achieve.
After this, where I would then think of our family, our friends, and the connections that we have.
Perfect.
So this sort of again means putting other people first.
Yeah,
So before we again think about ourselves, we would put other people ahead of our own needs. And this is also something very, very important.
solidarity, right?
Solidarity. Sure, when we think of family, when we think of friends, um, and making a connection, we're also thinking of solidarity or unity.
Unity.
Unity
Perfect.
is another good word, teacher. And the
Perfect.
last point is happiness.
Happiness.
We cannot forget about happiness. Maybe that's our ultimate goal. Some, we hear it many times that people say, I just want to live a very happy life.
I think that will be a very interesting point for our next conversation, talking about happiness.
Yes.
Wow, because is it happiness a state or is it happiness a moment? We don't know.
It could be a little bit of both.
Yeah. Wow,
But,
teacher, very nice, very interesting. I want to finish this conversation talking about what's happening around the world because there are not leaders. There are not leaders to follow about these human values, about these moral values. There is not a Gandhi anymore. There is not a Martin Luther King anymore. There is not a Pope, the Pope, this very famous Pope who passed away. I don't
John
remember.
Paul,
Yeah.
John
So
Paul, many years
yeah,
from Pope.
where are those people? We don't have anybody at this moment. Not even this Pope Francis. He's kind of left wing, so
Right.
everybody knows that.
Right.
And so there are no leaders around the world. So we have a very, very important homework at home as a parents.
Yes.
We have to be the ones giving values to our children. Parents,
Great point,
you
teacher.
mother, you father, grandpa, grandmom. We have
Great
to
point.
be the ones giving values to our children because there is no one to follow. And we have to give moral and human values to our children before this device does.
Takes
Because
control.
all our children, they have access to this cell phone.
That's
And
right.
no values here. And values, as I always say, here you find the devil and you find God, both. So you have to be careful. What do you think, teacher?
I agree with you. So you made a great point about everything really should start at home.
Yes.
So the influence that we would have as parents on our children is something very, very important.
Yes.
Also, of course, when our children go to school, they also are influenced by their teachers. So that's also important too.
Very
But
good, teacher. Very nice. So thank you so much, teacher, for this conversation. It was very, very interesting about moral values and human values. Very nice. And I hope everybody liked this conversation. Thank you.
thank you, teacher.
Bye-bye.